Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of statistics, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million football fans who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/get100 and use code GET100. That's code GET100 at prizepicks.com/get100 for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers about hikers for everybody.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night, heading toward the morning.
Welcome to the Jester Section Hiker Podcast with the spotlight on section hikers.
And I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods.
I am excited to announce that the podcast episodes that are specific to the Mountains to Sea Trail are now being sponsored by the MST Guide by Pocket Trails. The MST Guide is the most comprehensive app for maps and navigation developed for the Mountains to Sea Trail, providing unprecedented information and ease of access for day hikers, section hikers, and through hikers. Never get lost again. Updated maps with trail route changes and everything you need from parking areas, camping locations, water sources, and more. Available now for download through Google Play and coming soon for the iPhone. Check it out and download today. The MST Guide by Pocket Trails. Follow the lines in the palm of your hand. Welcome to the podcast, everybody. You are listening to Jester Section Hiker, the premier podcast with the spotlight on section hikers. And I'm your host, Julie Jester Gayhart. I am back continuing my quest to hike all 40 day hikes from the book, Great Day Hikes on North Carolina's Mountains to Sea Trail. Today's episode focuses on hikes 21, 22, 23, and much, much more. I am not sure if I have mentioned this before, but if you're interested in completing the 40-day hikes, the Mountains to Sea Trail organization also calls these hikes the 40 Hike Challenge. If you complete the challenge and submit to the MST that you've done so, they will send you a 40 Hike Challenge patch and record you as an official 40 Hike Challenge completer. On today's episode, you are going to hear all about hikes 21, 22, and 23. The word challenge seems to be a theme for this episode. For hike number 21, I was able to hike with Mary Stewart from episode number 39 and my friend Kansas, who I met and hiked with on the AT back in 2015. You will hear about the challenge we had practically from the start of the hike. For hike number 22, I had some information that I might encounter a little bit of a challenge around mile 4, and as you will hear, I did. Right after hike number 22, you are going to hear from a family of 6 that were the first 6 people to complete the 40-day hike challenge. I had a great time interviewing and talking trail with Hussein, El-Genk, and Nashua, Oraby, and their 4 kids. And after hike number 23, I had a chance to catch up with Tara Dower, who completed a monumental challenge of her own on the MST during the month of September 2020. You will hear part 1 of my interview with Tara in this episode, where the theme of the word challenge seemed to ring true for Tara's journey to the Mountains to Sea Trail as well. Thanks for joining in on the fun for this episode, and now on to the hikes and interviews with some awesome trail friends. All right, you guys, I am back. It is an awesome day, bright and sunny, Saturday, December the 26th, the day after Christmas, and at the halfway point of hike number 21, which is titled the Eno River. It is Cable Land's parking area to the pump station, and I believe we are past the pump station at another side trail parking area, which is considered trailhead number 2. And for this hike, you actually have 3 options. You can do a 1.7, a 3.5, or a 4.4 mile one way. And of course, I chose the 4.4, and you guys are going to hear, I've got a couple I'm going to call Mountains to Sea Trail section hike completers, and one voice you've already heard, another voice you kind of know about. You're going to hear more from her. She doesn't want to talk on the mic, but we're going to make her do that anyway. So let's get on with the description of the hike. In the book, the degree of difficulty says it's moderate. I'll agree with that. The trail type is all trail. Elevation gain is 398 feet. It kind of felt like more than that, but the loss is 463 feet. The highlights are river views, bluffs, spring wildflowers, and the pump station ruins, which are very cool, by the way. And also, this hike is not far from Durham, North Carolina. So a little bit of the description in the book, it says the Eno River rises in Orange County and joins with the Flat River to become the Noose and empty into Falls Lake. Named after the Eno people who lived here before the European arrival, the river is a swift and mostly shallow stream. Much of the river, including the area of this hike, is protected in the Eno River State Park. The MST runs along the banks of the Eno for some 22 miles, more than half the river's length. This hike is probably the most varied stretch along the river, with bluffs and rocky covers that it gives a mountainous feel. And I would agree with that. Mature woods and meadows and former industrial and home sites. So you guys, that's the description of the trail from the book. But with me right now, I think this is the first time I'm going to actually do a round trip hike. And I've got Miss Mary Angel Stewart from episode number 39. Good to have you with me today, Mary. Appreciate you coming on and talking.
Thank you, Jester. It's been fun hiking.
Oh my God, you guys, we have laughed like you have not believed. And laughing led us to actually going the wrong way. But I'm not supposed to talk about that, but we'll get into that in a minute. So Mary is actually eating her lunch. What are you having for lunch, Mary?
Turkey, cheese, and avocado.
And I see a half a banana there.
Half a banana.
And you guys will hear that, or remember, if you listen to Mary's episode, in episode number 39, she mentioned a friend of hers that knew me. She and I hiked together in 2015 on the Appalachian Trail, and she is here with us today. She has also joined us for this hike. So I introduce you guys for the first time to the podcast, Kansas. Thank you, Kansas.
Thank you, Jester. It is so great to see you again. It's been how long?
It has been, 5 years almost.
Wow.
I know. And Kansas looks exactly the same. I don't know if I can say that for myself, but we probably hiked, 400 or 500 miles together of the Appalachian Trail?
You probably know better than I didn't. I just was along for the ride. Yes.
Yeah, she's going to say, yeah. I think it was around 400 or 500 miles. It was pretty much Pennsylvania to, Vermont area, something like that. We were around each other most of the way. So awesome summer that was. But let's get back to this hike. So Mary, describe this hike to the listeners who've never done this before, kind of starting from the first trailhead, and lead us down into like the Eno River and what we're going to see and kind of just the trail itself.
Okay, so we started out at Cable Land's on House Street and headed down. And after we got back on the right track, Um,
We're laughing, you guys, because somehow we ended up going west on the Mountains of Sea Trail. I think we took, at point 4, we took a wrong turn. Maybe talk about that, because to me it was real easy to do.
yeah, there's a little side trail that goes down to the Eno that looks like a trail because so many people walk down it, and it loops back to take you to the quarry trail. But you just have to kind of go right down there and not be laughing so much. Pay a little bit more attention to your directions, and it's not hard to find. But
Although I will say, when we took the left, we probably went, I want to say maybe a mile. It was a beautiful walk along the Eno River. We were just going the wrong way on the trail. No regrets whatsoever. But at point 4, when you get to that intersection, just know to kind of take the sharp right instead of going left. Or I don't even know if we went straight. So, all right, take us after that.
so you traverse along the Eno River, which is absolutely beautiful. And this is a great time of year to come out and hike with the leaves off the trees. You can see it very well. And it's up because of the recent rain. So it's the little rapids are just rolling, and not quite warm enough for any animals to be out today, but lots of times you'll see turtles sunning, you'll see bald eagle every once in a while, herons.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
I remember you saying that when we got to the one particular part there right before the, I don't know what it was, the first ruins we saw. It was kind of like a chimney, and we took pictures because somebody put socks up there and they were dangling down like, oh my goodness, I forgot, on the chimney, what do you call it? Yeah. Stockings. They were dangling down like stockings, and we were taking pictures there. But that's where you had said that sometimes you see the bald eagles there. So take us from, the one thing I noticed on the hike too, I cannot get over these beautiful bridges on the Mountains of Sea Trail.
yeah, they're beautiful. They're really well maintained because this is part of the Eno River State Park. And they have a lot of Boy Scout troops and come out and do those for Eagle Scout projects. So.
Really good, really good. And then right before you have to get on the red trail, which brought us up to the parking area here, we went past the pump station, which was really cool. And we walked over and took a look at everything. So do you know any of the history of the pump station? I know I'm probably putting you on the spot, but
I don't know any history of it, but it's really pretty. You cross from Orange County into Durham County, and then that's when you start seeing it. And Durham is textiles was in the day, so they had a lot of pump stations, and the ruins are magnificent. There's the pump house that we saw first, and then you get to some pump station ruins. And the chimney that she was talking about where they left the stockings out, that's actually called the Sparger. The Sparger Lodge. It's the remains of the Sparger Lodge. And as well as the stockings, somebody had left a bottle of bourbon in the chimney for Santa.
And then we went away from the stockings and got more interested in the bourbon, I think. So, all right. Well, Mary, really appreciate it. I'm going to let you finish eating your lunch because we're actually going to turn around and go back. And I think we figured out that pretty much we will have done all the options by the time we get back because that's just the way we roll. But in the book, there are 3 options for this hike, and you could take advantage of doing all 3. Or if you have a shorter day, you can just do the one or the second one. But thank you, Mary. Appreciate it. I'm going to go over here and close out with Kansas. She is mic shy. She's not camera shy because I don't have the camera up. So I just really want to thank you, Kansas, for coming out and hiking. And we have been laughing and talking and reminiscing about hiking that we did in 2015. And you have since then, when did you complete the Mountains of Sea Trail?
Spring of 2019.
And how long did it take you?
A year and a half.
Year and a half. And that's not long. That is moving on the Mountains of Sea Trail.
I had to take 3 months off.
And you are also, wait a minute, you also have an interest too in the Ice Age Trail we talked a little bit about today.
Yes, I've got 77 miles done on that and would have been back there this year except for COVID.
So
I couldn't get my shuttle driver to go. Couldn't get him to leave home.
So say, we start getting back to some type of semblance here in early 2021, summer 2021. Again, you guys, she has completed the Appalachian Trail. She's completed the Mountains of Sea Trail. What's next for Kansas?
I'm going to get that IAT done because I have to. I'm just got to do what I set out to do, you know. And I won't.
You won't stop.
I won't
until you
start
do.
another one until I finish that one.
Well, that is awesome. Again, all right, you guys, really appreciate it. Hike number 21. We're going to finish eating our lunch. We're going to go back to trailhead number 1, and I will chat back with you guys real soon. All right, you guys, I am back. It is Sunday, December 27th, and I am actually right now on hike number 22, the Falls Lake hike. I have actually reached the end point and I have turned around because on this one you have to do an out and back. But before I get to that information, let me go ahead and describe to you the book information. So hike number 22, the Falls Lake Trail, Rolling View State Recreation Area to Little Lick Creek. The distance is 4.5 miles one way. The degree of difficulty is moderate. Type of trail, it is on all trail. The elevation gain is 461 feet. The loss is 566 feet. The highlights are lake views, bluffs, mature Piedmont forest. This hike, part of the Falls Lake Trail, running nearly the entire southern shore of Falls Lake, encompasses typical Piedmont and Falls Lake landscapes, gently rolling hills, second growth pine and hardwood forest, various signs of the area's agricultural past with a few twists. There are a few short but steep ascents and descents more reminiscent of the Appalachians than of the eastern Piedmont. The forest is more mature than is typical in the area, and there are some unusually panoramic views of Falls Lake, especially from atop a bluff near the midpoint of the hike and from the bridge at the end of the hike. So I will go ahead and give you guys some more information. You may want to check on the mountainsofsea.org website on this one because basically there's not really an option. You do have to do an out and back from the Baptist Road, and that's where I started this morning. So again, double check those directions and see if there have been any updates for hike number 22 before you head out. And I got a little information about this hike also before I headed out. I heard the area by the bridge was flooded out, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it to the bridge, but you will hear about that here shortly. So basically, you start off in the parking lot there on a blue blazed trail at the Baptist Road parking area. And the blue blazed trail is about a half a mile. It is pretty much all downhill until you get to the Mountains of Sea Trail, and then you hook a left on the Mountains of Sea Trail, and then it's pretty much rolling up and down. And again, this is another trail near Falls Lake where it's basically a bed of pine needles. And obviously I'm hiking in the time of year where there are no leaves on the trees. And the entire time that you are hiking west on the trail, you have Falls Lake on your right, which is absolutely gorgeous. And then you, on your left-hand side at various points, and it's very evident where private property is, and there are several signs that indicate private property, so make sure you stay on the trail. But some gorgeous homes, and the trail is pretty much single track, and I don't know if this is the way that it is all the time, but I will pretty much right now describe this as, the trail's sloppy, it's wet, and rightly so. You are literally right by Falls Lake, and there are tons of leaves on the trail, so it's a little bit slippery, but the sun is starting to come out now and kind of warm things up. And the hike itself, I will agree, it's pretty moderate. There are some ups and downs, but no major climbing whatsoever. I mean, the ups, you can pretty much see the top, and then the downs, you can pretty much see the downs. But like I said, the trail is pretty sloppy, and when you get down near the water, it is pretty wet. So just be cautious of that. If you are headed here anytime in the winter months, if it was summer, I wouldn't be, thinking about the trail being wet at all, because it's warm, your feet can dry out and all that good stuff. But today, I think when I started this hike, it was either 28 or 29 degrees, and I think it's warmed up now. It's supposed to get in the mid 40s. But anyway, just check the temperature, check the Mountains of Sea Trail website. Just know that your feet are potentially going to be wet for this one. Other than that, absolutely gorgeous. Like right now, you're walking from pine needle beds to leaves on the trail to lake views. And at one point, just around the 3-mile mark, you, on your left-hand side, you can see horses in a farm field, and you can just stand there and watch them graze and all that good stuff. And overall, this hike has been very quiet. I have not seen anybody, but once you get to, in the book, there is a point where you are going to pop out into an open area, and there's a power line, and it's, in the book it says, you'll know you're about done and to the bridge when you get to this point. But for me, when I got to that point, I crossed over the open area and went down. You go down about a length of a football field, and the entire trail was flooded. And I really did contemplate going through it because I wanted to see the bridge and I wanted to get to the end of the hike because I know it's just like right there. But I kind of skirted around the edge a little bit and took my hiking pole and poked around, and it just wasn't going to happen. I did not want to get soaked and have to turn around and hike back 4.5 miles with the temperature hovering like it is in the mid 30s and have completely wet feet, pants, and everything else that goes along with that. And you just don't know when you're crossing water. You can't really tell how deep it is at any given point. So did not want to tempt that. So I took a video of the flooded area just past the marking where you see the power lines and called it good. And now I am on my return trip back to Baptist Road parking area and just going to enjoy going back, seeing things from a different perspective. Now the lake is on my left-hand side and all the private property and homes and all that good stuff are on my right-hand side. So again, another great hike. I'm not going to lie. I am kind of bummed that I am not going to be able to see the footbridge, but I was right there. And if it wasn't flooded, it would not be a problem. And I did want to tell you guys, there is that other parking area in the book. They do recommend, or they actually say, please do not park there. I guess there's been some trouble with partying and all kinds of stuff. And if I would have started on that end, there's no way I would have been able to get through. So this one, definitely an out and back. Don't take your chances. Do what you got to do. And I'm actually at a little crossing here. It's kind of crazy too, because the trail at some points gets real sandy. So I'm getting ready to dip down and get into this sandy area here and get over here to the other side. But anyway, guys, I will wrap it up with that. I've probably got, 3 miles back to the Baptist Road parking area. And My goal is to finish this up and then tomorrow bring you guys hike number 3, or not 3, number 23, and I will be back to chat with you guys real soon. All right, you guys, it is still Sunday, December the 27th, couple days after Christmas, and I have a special treat for you. I am in the parking lot at the end or the beginning of hike number 22 at Baptist Road, and I have a family here with me of 6 that just completed the 40-day hikes about a week ago, if that. And I'm actually on Instagram. They are known as 6 and a Van. So you guys definitely need to go to Instagram, look at all their pictures, follow them. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves. And then we're going to talk about a little bit of their 40 hikes. So we'll start with Dad.
Hi, I'm Hussein.
All right.
Hi, I'm Zachariah.
Zachariah, how old are you?
11.
11.
Hi, I'm Ayub and I'm 10.
10. Perfect.
Hi, I'm Karina and I'm 7 and about to turn 8.
Oh, absolutely wonderful. And?
Hi, I'm Rashid and I'm 6.
6. Perfect. And Mom?
Yes, my name is Nashua.
Nashua, very nice to meet all of you. And you guys, they drove about 25 minutes to come see me so I could get a little bit of an interview. And Dad, why don't you tell us kind of how you got started on this 40 hike adventure?
So in the spring, it's still kind of the height of the pandemic. And so we just, and the weather was nice here, for May, it was unique. It wasn't humid in Durham. So we started walking in our neighborhood. And one day we stumbled across the Mountains to Sea Trail. We didn't know what it was, but it was a few miles from our house. And it was along the Eno River. And so we asked on our neighborhood listserv, hey, is there any way to go along the Eno all the way to Hillsborough? And that's when some neighbors told us about the Mountains to Sea Trail, and another neighbor told us about the 40 Hike Challenge. So we bought the book and we just kind of started doing them, and then we decided we would do all of them.
All right, well, I'm going to go to Mom now, because was there any kind of particular order that you guys decided to do the hikes? Because I know you didn't do them in order. Did you kind of do them as convenience, or tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Hussein and I were talking about how it would work out with, the rest of the year and the weather. And so we decided to do the 40 hikes that's near our house. And then in the summer, when it's going to be so hot down here in the Triangle, we'd figure we'd go out to the mountains where it can be nice and cool. So over there at the Blue Ridge and Asheville and so forth. And then as the temperature dropped into the fall, we'll head out to the East Coast. And so it really worked out great.
So you guys did this in how many months?
I guess about 7 months.
Okay, I'm going to have to beat you now because there's competition out here. It's like, I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. All right, we're going to get to the kids here, and we'll start with the oldest. Tell me your name again and your age.
I'm Zachary. I'm 11 years old.
You're 11, and what was your favorite hike?
My favorite hike was Kingdom's Dome.
Clingman's Dome. Okay, why was Wasn't that a cool tower?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I could see all the views and all the mountains.
Did you guys get a clear day when you were up at Clingman's Dome?
Yeah, we got a pretty clear day.
Cool, very good. And what was tell me your name again, your age, and your favorite hike?
My name is Ayub, and I'm 10, and my favorite hike was Stone Mountain.
Stone Mountain. And why did you like Stone Mountain? Do you remember?
Because there's those big rocks and look at the moon.
Oh, very cool. Big rocks and look like the moon. All right. This young lady here, I got to tell you what she has on. She has on black and pink, awesome tights, pink gloves, cool shoes, and she's ready to tell me her favorite hike. Tell me your name again, dear, age, and your favorite part.
Karima, and I'm 7 and about to turn 8, and my favorite hike was Stone Mountain because it had a good view of the village down below.
Perfect. Wonderful. All right. We are here. I'm here. This young one here, I think that's a wolf, right? Is that a wolf on your shirt?
Yeah.
All right, cool. And it's bright orange, and it's hunting season, so it's a perfect color to have out while you're hiking. So tell me your name again, your age, and your favorite hike.
My name is Rashid, and I'm 6 years old, and my favorite hike was Clingman's Dome.
Clingman's Dome, perfect. Now I'm gonna go back to Dad. Was Clingman's Dome like your first hike that you guys did, or what order was Clingman's?
Clingman was somewhere in August, so about halfway through. It was maybe like our 13th or 14th hike. We started kind of, in Durham. Our first hike was actually the cable. It was called the pump station in Durham, all the way, and then in Hillsborough. We did that in one day actually. So Clemens Dome was about halfway through.
All right, perfect. And Mom, because you have 4 kids doing these hikes, at any given time, did you think, oh, how are we going to do this with kids? So for families out there that are thinking about taking on these hikes, how was it hiking with the kids?
We took it, a bit at a time. I think the most important thing is just getting the practice in hiking distances and keeping hydrated. So at one point we figured, instead of like carrying water bottles or anything, we had the kids in camelbacks so they can stay hydrated. We had like Cliff Bars and just light snacks. And then we just, gave them breaks when they needed. But we also kept encouraging them to keep on walking so they can build that strength and endurance. So, I mean, you shouldn't underestimate little kids. Like they'll adapt. They're adaptable for sure.
They'll adapt. So of the 4 of you, who right now would go again? Oh my goodness, none of them raised. Oh, wait a minute. All right, would you go again?
Yeah. My name is Rashid, and I'm 6 years old, and my favorite hike was the Craggies.
All right, your favorite hike was the Craggies. That is okay. So he answered it right there. He would go straight to the Craggies again. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, okay, you got your hand raised. Where are you going next?
I would go to
Skinny Dip Falls. All right, and I want to go back there too, because when I was there, I'm not kidding, there were probably 100 people there, so I need to be able to go back and enjoy the falls. But you guys, we are in a parking lot here, and just want to go ahead and we'll wrap this up because people need our parking spaces. So what's next for the family as far as hiking and the next adventure?
Well, we really enjoyed the Mountains to Sea Trail, and we learned a lot about our state and different areas. So when we were traveling, we were on a mission to do the hikes, but there's a lot of areas of North Carolina that we discovered that we'd like to go back and do other trails that are besides the Mountains to Sea Trails. But we're also, the Mountains to Sea Trail has a special place in our heart. So we think we would like to, start completing some sections. We've done, other hikes that were not on the Mountains to Sea Trail. So we'd like to kind of connect the dots and start completing certain sections. And, maybe when the kids can start carrying their weight, we might do some through sections as well. Some of them camping. We want to go back to Linville Gorge and do some backcountry camping there because we thought that was beautiful. So definitely the plan is to stay out there.
Perfect. And when you said camping, the young lady, she's got her hand raised. She's got something to say about that. She's excited.
On the 16-mile hike, most people are camping there. A special spot for that. And
is that the Linville Gorge, the 16-mile hike? Yeah, you guys did that as an out and back? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Bravo to all. I didn't even do that as out and back. Man, that is awesome. So next time you guys are going to camp, right? Maybe. All right, guys. I really, really, really appreciate you guys driving here, coming on the podcast. All right, so everybody can sign off. So tell all the listeners, we'll see you on the trail.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll see you guys on the trail.
All right.
See you on the trail.
All right.
See you on the trail. See you on the trail.
See you on the trail.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it. All right, you guys, I am back. It is Monday, December the 28th. It is a chilly morning, but another gorgeous morning out on the Mountains to Sea Trail. I am actually on hike number 23, which is titled the Fall Line Geology. It goes from Raven Ridge Road, where I just got dropped off, to the Falls Lake Dam Spillway. The distance is 3.5 miles one way. The trail type is all on trail. The elevation gain is 424 feet. The loss on this hike is 486 feet. And the highlights are lake views and geological interest. And the book description says, this hike includes the easternmost portion of the Falls Lake Trail, that follows nearly the entire southern shore of Falls Lake, only coming close to the roads and houses a few times along its length. The hike offers unusual solitude for its location in the suburbs of Raleigh. Because of its fall-time geology, it also offers a surprising amount of elevation change for the Piedmont, with a third of a mile descent dropping more than 100 feet to the dam trailhead. The remainder of the trail is more characteristic of the rest of the area, dipping in and out of coves and spending quality time along the lake. Another cool thing that happens at the end of this hike is this will complete the Piedmont portion of the Mountains of Sea Trail and the 40-day hikes. And then my next hike number 24, picks up in the coastal plains. So far, I'm assuming I'm going to make it to the end of this hike. At the end of hike number 23, you can put a big check mark on the mountain region and a big check mark on the Piedmont region as far as the 40-day hikes go. And I am really looking forward to getting out to the coastal plains area of the Mountains of Sea Trail. I have never ventured out myself personally past Wilmington area of North Carolina. So really looking forward to getting out to the beach, Jockey's Ridge area, and seeing all that stuff that comes with those particular hikes. But anyway, getting back to hike number 23, just a little heads up, the trailhead number 1, where I just got dropped off, it's actually a pullout, and the coordinates are dead on, but you just want to be careful because it literally has enough room, I would say, for about 4 cars, and you just kind of got to be on the lookout. Right at the area there is a marquee sign and a white dot that indicates the Mountains of Sea Trail. So the trailhead is easy to find, but just be careful on that parking there. And it's one of those deals where the pullout's like right there and you're like, oh, okay, well, this is it. So wanted to give you a heads up on that. I am about a mile into this hike, and I wanted to record this early because I've got an individual actually hiking toward me, heading west. I am heading east, that I am actually going to interview, and I am really excited about this, and I hope you guys are going to be excited about it as well. She has just completed a couple months ago a very tough feat on the Mountains of Sea Trail, and I'm going to interview her about that, and we're going to chat about all things Mountains of Sea and what she's been up to. So as far as this hike goes, basically the entire time for this first mile, it is gorgeous trail. Again, if you're hiking east, on my right-hand side, I am seeing a couple houses. They're not as close to the trail as you'll find in hike number 22, but these lakes on the left-hand side is the lake. So it's the best of both worlds. Awesome trail, got the lake on the left-hand side. And I will say this particular hike has been very well marked with white dots. And I'm stopping here because someone spray painted on a tree, love. So that must be a sign for today. I'm supposed to love hike number 23, and that's what I'm going to do. But in particular about this hike, the highlights are the lake views, and I'm going to assume for the rest of the hike, it's going to be on my left-hand side, and it's been great. And again, I cannot complain about the time of year that I am completing these hikes, and I'm very glad it just kind of worked out this way without the leaves on the trees, because it is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And I think the book description is correct. It is very quiet. I just stopped. I mean, it is really quiet. The water is not moving over the lake, and it's just peaceful and still. So I am going to continue on the hike, And hopefully about halfway, I will meet up with the individual that I'm going to interview. And you guys are going to hear that right after this chat, right after this description of the hike. So I'm going to continue on hiking, and I will be back with that interview and chat with you guys real soon. All right, you guys, I am back. And as I said in the description for hike number 23, I had an individual that was going to be meeting me, and she showed up. And let me see how I'm going to introduce her. So she has completed the Appalachian Trail as a through hike. She has worked at the Blue Ridge Hiking Company. She is a guide for the Blue Ridge Hiking Company, or was a former guide. And you guys probably know her if you are an MST fan as the fastest known time holder currently for the Mountains of Sea Trail. So welcome to the podcast, Tara Dower, otherwise known as Candy Mama.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. That was a great introduction. That was great. You were like, let me think about that. And then you just come out with this awesome introduction.
Like I said, I never know what's going to roll out. I used to be all scripted and stuff, but now I just don't because that's just the way it is.
Yeah, of course.
And we are literally in the parking lot. What's the name of this parking lot?
We have the dam right next to us, but Tail Race parking lot?
Tail Race parking lot.
I never called it that as a kid. Like, we always just call this Falls Dam.
Okay, so we'll call it that. We're at the Falls Dam parking lot. We just finished hike number 23. We are actually sitting in my van. So we've been talking about vans and all kinds of stuff because Tara is building out a van as well. So Tara, we're going to do this in two parts. So for part one, we're going to kind of get to know you and kind of your hiking background and kind of what led to the fastest known time for the Mountains of Sea Trail. So I'm going to go back to 2017.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your attempted through hike of the Appalachian Trail. So maybe talk to us about how you got interested in the AT and what led to 2017.
Yeah. So I've been interested in the Appalachian Trail since I was in college. I remember in 2012 or 13, 14, I don't remember the day, or not the day, I don't remember the exact date, but I remember watching watching a documentary about the Appalachian Trail that National Geographic had made. Yeah. And I don't know if you've seen that particular one, but it was just like an all-encompassing view of the trail life, through hikers. It was great stories, beautiful views, and I've always hiked my entire life. Like, I've hiked in this area we're in right now. I've hiked this entire area, all the trails in it. So I've been a hiker, but that just looked like I'm always about challenging myself, as you probably can realize. I'm all about like challenging myself. So the fact that people were out there just doing thousands of miles in like a couple months seemed really interesting to me, but also the fact through this documentary, there's this huge community involved. So I started, diving into section hiking, and doing it with my friends, just seeing like how I liked it. And I really enjoyed it, even though my first through hike was absolutely terrible. Or not through hike, section hike. It was about 30 miles, but it was from Watauga Lake to a little short of Damascus. And it was absolutely horrid because we got rained on. We didn't have any rain equipment. And we just got drenched that night. Okay,
when you say you don't have any rain equipment, did you not have any rain gear?
No, and I didn't know. I didn't understand backpacking. We just thought it would be fine and there would be no rain. And I had my brother's, he's 6'1". I had his Boy Scouting pack. So if you know anything about like the pack fitting, you should fit it to your individual body.
And you are how tall?
5'7".
Yeah, and your torso is not going to be his torso.
No, it was terrible, but I love the experience of it and just doing whatever and being out there in nature. So I decided after college in 2017, I was going to attempt a through hike of the Appalachian Trail. And that's what I was planning for my entire college. I wasn't really planning for a career. I was like, what am I going to do on this through hike?
I love that too. Okay, so you graduate college, you do all that stuff, you've gone section hikes. Okay, when did you start in 2017?
2017, I started April 12th or 11th.
Okay, and what happened? How far did you get? And kind of, you don't have to go through the whole deal, but So how many miles did you get in?
So I went 80 miles to Bly Gap, and the first day was great. The second day I started feeling an amount of anxiety, and that's really when my anxiety became prevalent, when I started realizing like I have anxious tendencies and I just have serious anxiety that kind of debilitates me, because that's exactly what it did. I couldn't go more than a couple hours with just thinking just these really dark, intense thoughts like you're not going to make it, you're never going to see Jonathan again. Like, what is that kind of thinking? Like, you're not going to see him again, which
and
isn't
Jonathan,
true.
Who's your husband now,
yeah,
right?
Sorry, yeah, Jonathan was my boyfriend at the time. Now he's my husband. But he wasn't doing it with me. He was still in college. He had another year left. And so I was thinking, like, you'll never see him again, like, which is completely ridiculous. Like, why would I think that? And for some reason, my head was just all over the place, and I just dark thoughts, and I couldn't stop thinking. And it got to a point, I got to Bly Gap, and I went to bed, and I woke up the next morning, and I had a severe headache. I had a headache, migraine. I would call it migraine. It was bad. I felt like something was sitting on my chest, like an elephant was sitting on my chest. I couldn't breathe. I was hyperventilating, and it was just waking up. And I called Jonathan up, and he was like, "You're having a panic attack." So, I mean, I couldn't get a hold of myself. I couldn't relax. It was very scary. I've never felt something so intense before. So I ended up calling my closest relatives, were my grandparents, and they weren't far. They were in Blue, I forget what it's called. It's near El-Genk, which is really close to the trail in Georgia. And so I called them up, they picked me up, and I just reevaluated. It was like, why did this happen? I wasn't enjoying it like I did my section hikes. I was anxious and couldn't just enjoy being in the moment. I couldn't enjoy nature. And why was that? And so I ended up deciding I would go home and just kind of reevaluate and kind of get a hold of my anxiety. So 2 years later, that's when me and my husband, Jonathan, decided.
And obviously you guys got married and all that good stuff. So what led to, is his desire for the trail as much as yours, or? No. So we got married, and I was like, okay, so we're going to do the Appalachian Trail, right? Like, you want to do it. This is what this means, marriage, doing through hikes. And so he sat on it for a while, and then he started watching YouTubers on through hikes, doing through hikes. He started following people doing their through hikes. In 2018, he watched some, and he was like, that looks awesome. Like, I don't know if he just thought this was going to be like a slog through the mud and it was going to be terrible, but then he saw videos. He's like, that looks incredible. I would love to do that with you. But his desire was not as much as mine. I've always just been connected to the community and the trail, and just felt drawn to the Appalachian Trail. Like, it's hard to describe, isn't it?
It's so weird. It's so weird to describe.
You're sitting there trying to describe it, and I'm sitting here like, yeah, how do you describe that? Because, we're here to talk about the Mountains of Sea Trail as well, but it's so easy to talk about the AT when you've been involved in that community and
had such positive experiences from it.
Which is what I really want and strive for the Mountains of Sea Trail as well.
Yeah, same.
So, and obviously the MST is in your heart as well. But getting back, 2019, you guys completed the trail.
Yeah.
The AT.
Yeah.
Any anxieties, any ebbs and flows with that during that?
Yeah. So I worked a lot on my anxiety and working like, why do I feel anxiety? How can I work with, that sounds weird, work with my anxiety to not go down rabbit holes and just like jump into this just intense thought process that never stops. How can I just enjoy the moment? So by the time I got to the AT, I had methods of, controlling it, but I still felt anxiety. I still had moments where I couldn't get hold of my thoughts. But it just seemed a lot better. Like, I don't know what it was in 2017, but I could not get a hold of
what was happening.
myself.
So if you don't mind, you said you used some methods. What is a method? Because I get anxiety. A lot of people get anxiety, maybe not as intense, or people have different varieties of it. So what is a method to kind of gain, because that's mental, I think, for you, right?
It is,
okay.
It's all mental. Like, I could go out on a trail and just, like, you know, physically I can do it. Mentally, that's where I have a lot of issues. But I do a lot of grounding techniques. So I really like to ground myself in nature. So I touch rocks and I feel the rocks in my hands and I rub the rocks. I take leaves and I break them. I just feel it. And then I smell my hands. I smell the whatever, the greenery, whatever the smell of nature
dirt,
is.
man. The dirt, yeah.
So there was my friend Rascal, when I was doing the MST, she would pick up handfuls of gravel and give it to me because she knew that grounded me, and that feeling, that crunch, that just like feeling of something in my hand and just grounding myself to nature. I know that sounds weird. When I first heard of it, I was like, I'm not going to do that. That's all like
no, I totally get it.
Stuff. I'm not going to do that. But I did it, and it was like incredible, just like splitting, you know, leaves and smelling inside of them, looking at things and identifying things, just using my senses otherwise. Not all to stay in my head is where things go wrong. But if I'm outside enjoying the environment and feeling, touching, smelling, that really helps ground me. I also know where my mind can go. So when I start going down that rabbit hole, I stop it right there. And I try to change my mindset. I try to be like, okay, yeah, I'm getting rained on. And I'm afraid that, you know, a tree might follow me when I'm tenting. That's a very irrational fear of mine.
No, it's not.
All
okay.
the time.
Tara, I have that fear too. So no,
I don't fear bears. I don't fear a lot of stuff, but I do fear trees following me, and that's like irrational thought, and that keeps me up at night when I'm tenting. But I think, okay, let's just rethink this, and let's just try to be positive.
So it sounds like to me you take ownership of it.
Oh yeah,
when
definitely.
It's happening and different.
My mind literally went off the rails in 2017. Just went down this rabbit hole, and I couldn't come back from it. So 2019 was much better using those techniques.
And that was your year, and you guys summited when? You started and summited when for the AT?
March 22nd is when we started, and then September 1st is when we ended.
All right, perfect. And then after that, when did you start working for Blue Ridge Hiking Company, which is owned by Jennifer Farr Davis, and you also do some guiding. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I worked for a company that I love and fully support, called Great Outdoor Provision Company. I used to work for them in Greenville, North Carolina, and I had a boss there named Lindsay. She left about the same time that me and Jonathan left for our thru hike. She left to go work for Jennifer Farr Davis in Asheville, Blue Ridge Hiking Company. So after I finished the trail, she reached out to me and said, hey, we need a caretaker for this season, and we're also looking for guides, so why don't you apply? So I did, and actually instantly got the job. I guess she trusted me enough, so I instantly got the job, which was great. So I moved up to Hot Springs.
How cool is that?
It was Hot Springs. Yeah, Hot Springs is right on the Appalachian Trail. Like I said, I've been connected with the community. At least mentally, I've always been connected with the community, but physically now too. I was living on trail, living with thru hikers in the bunkhouse at the Appalachian Trailer.
So cool. And in the Appalachian Trailer, if you're hiking north and you're coming down into Hot Springs and the northbound season, how cool was that
I saw thousands of thru hikers and section hikers. Yeah, just walking by my front, like I would look out my kitchen window, or I'd sit on the porch and just thru hiker, section hiker, thru hiker, just passing by. And it was a pretty sweet gig. I loved it.
And it's really cool too, because as I was stalking you on your YouTube channel, I also noticed that you interviewed various hikers in the 2020 season, which we all know, I mean, thank goodness we're getting ready to get out. Well, I don't know if we're getting ready to get out of COVID, but we're getting ready to get out of 2020 here with the new year. Yes. So just briefly talk to us about that and all. I can't even imagine the hiker emotions that you saw.
It was, so I was able to apply a lot of my grounding techniques, if that tells you anything, to this season. But, it started off really good. Like, we got there around about March, early March. So we already had like a couple thru hikers just walking through who'd started January, February. And so when I got there, it was great, but then everything slowly changed once we got to like end of March, April, May. I kind of blocked this part out, but through hikers would come down and into the bunkhouse, and I would have to be the one that broke the news to them, like, hey, this is what the ATC just said. This is what people are saying. Your through hike might need to be postponed. Might need to be postponed. You need to figure out this or that. Like, this is what's happening in the world, because they didn't have cell service. So I was usually the one that brought that to them. Because if you've been to Hot Springs, you know that there isn't a lot of cell service either. So a lot of people couldn't really get cell service until they got to a bunkhouse and talked to me. And so it was really hard. That was tough to do, because I know how personal through hike is, and that's to tell somebody that is never fun. So,
so we'll lead from there. So this is interesting. So we're doing this in two parts. So with part one, it was a getting to know Tara, and I think we got to know you pretty well. And I am going to put your YouTube channel and anything you'll allow me to put in the show notes where people can follow you.
Sure.
So this is a great ending point for part one, because this is going to lead, COVID is going to lead us into your Mountains of Sea Trail initial was going to be a through hike, right?
Yes.
And because of COVID, it turned into this awesome fastest known time. All right. So
that is a great place to stop. That's exactly what happened.
All right. Perfect. All right, guys. Thank you, Tara. And we will be back for part two. I think the theme of the word challenge certainly held its meaning in today's episode. A huge thank you to Mary Stewart, Kansas, Hussein, Nashua, Zachariah, Ayub, Karima, Rafid, and Tara Dower for meeting with me and sharing all of your passions for the Mountains to Sea Trail. Today's episode ended with part one of my chat with Tara Dower. As you heard, Tara is no stranger to the hiking world, and her challenges in 2017 led her to being the current fastest known time holder for the Mountains of Sea Trail. You will hear all about that in next week's episode in part two of my interview with Tara. As always, all of the information, resources, and pictures from today's episode can be found in the show notes at hikingradionetwork.com. If you like what we do here at the network, please consider a donation to your favorite show and leave us a review. Each donation and review truly makes a difference in what we do. Thanks for listening, everybody, and happy section hiking.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night, heading toward the morning light. I wonder if you'd wander with me, and I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods. You're wondering if I go wandering with you, what kind of trouble we'll get ourselves into. Would it be wrong to tag along with a band of vagabonds? You wonder if I'd wander with you. So I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river. if you'd come wandering my way. If you ever get lost, or if the trail leads you astray, the music of the pack can always bring you back. I wonder, can we wander away? And I'll spread the word, and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets in these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/get100 and use code GET100. That's code GET100 at prizepicks.com/get100 for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.